Hello, we're glad to be here and having our live this week. And we're really looking forward to talking about Band-Aids. When we think about Band-Aids, Band-Aids are something that we use if we cut ourselves or something like that, and we use a Band-Aid. It doesn't do anything to really heal. It kind of covers it. If we want we bump it or something like that, it's just kind of like something to protect it. But it's not an agent that's really designed to heal. So when we use Band-Aid, the cost of Band-Aid fixes, that can be very expensive. It's just like if you have a client that comes into your law office and you just kind of offer them a Band-Aid. Yeah, it might get them through a day or so or a week or so, but it could always come back to bite them because you're not really getting to the source. So that's what we talk about with Band-Aids. Um, a lot of times with lawyers' own individual lives and their law practices, they don't have time for themselves. They don't have time to really address what's going on in their law practice. They just kind of every day they're looking to see what are the things that they have to do to get through the day. How can they manage getting putting out all the fires or meeting all the deadlines or trying to who the squeaky wheel, which is the squeaky wheel that I have to kind of calm down. All of those are usually things that happen in a law practice. And so therefore it's very, very easily when it comes to one's personal well-being to use a Band-Aid. So what are some ways that maybe an attorney might use a Band-Aid? Well, maybe an attorney is very depressed, and so they might find medication. And there's all kinds of medications that are available to go to a psychiatrist and get a prescription or whatever you need for your anxiety or stress. But many will say, well, if I just get that drink at night, or if I just, do some recreational kind of drugs or whatever, it'll calm me down, get me through the night. Or the attorney that says, "Oh, a lot of women say, just get me that wine at night. Just give me the wine and let me kind of zone out, and everything will be okay tomorrow." Maybe some might go on a shopping spree. Uh, there's always the retail therapy. If I can just like hold off till Friday, and then I'll go and spend some money and go to the store, and I'll feel better. And then many of us may go eat. I know when I was really young, oh, I crave chocolate. I didn't drink as much as chocolate. I just had to have chocolate. I had to have as much chocolate. And I would get into places, and I remember that rather than eat any vegetables or anything that was good for me, I would use sugar and chocolate to deal with my anxiety and my stress, and that would get me through. And then you know how you have a sugar high, just like if you were drinking or if you were taking drugs, you have this high, but what goes up must come down. And then either I was going to have more chocolate or deal with the feelings that I had that I felt depressed about. So a lot of times that can be also something that people use. They use food or alcohol or drugs, or workaholism is another way. That's a Band-Aid. If I just work and work and work and work, and I don't have to pay attention to what's going on in my life, what's going on with my feelings, then that's a Band-Aid that works and works for many for years until you hit the wall. And the wall is usually burnout, right? And then when you hit burnout, I've seen it happen over and over again. And what is burnout? How does that look? So for the people that come to me, or the lawyers that come to me with burnout, what happens is they hit a wall, and then they're unable to proceed in a productive manner. Just can't get going. It's just like moving through molasses, like trying and trying to get some productivity and energy to get things done, and they just can't because they have hit the wall. They have spent everything. It's like if you fill your car up with gas and then you run out E, You can't push the car, you can't turn the car, you can't turn on the ignition. It is on E. And so that happens to us, can happen to us emotionally and mentally and even physically, that you hit the wall and you can't function. Those are the attorneys that generally come to me, and I'm like, why didn't you come to me sooner? Now we help them. We actually get these attorneys productive, get them back into the flow of work, get the energy going and all of that. But it's a very painful place to be. It's very painful for an attorney to be at a place where I know there's consequences. I know I have to do this work. I know there's a deadline and I can't freaking get it done. So when you get to that place where I just cannot get it done, that means that you have used a Band-Aid and finally the Band-Aid isn't working. It's just like if you have a sore and you keep bumping the sore or you keep doing whatever and it never heals, that Band-Aid is going to come off and it's going to be worse than it was, because the purpose of the Band-Aid was not to heal the wound. You have to heal the wound. So, attorneys, like, what can happen is that the pain feels normal. This is just how it is. This is how it is to practice law. This is how it is. I wake up and I'm depressed. This is how it is that I wake up and I feel like I'm in molasses and I can hardly move. This is how it is that I feel like life is over and I don't want to live. And I've been there where, oh my God, I woke up and I got to do another day. I got to do another day. And I don't have it with me. I don't have any enthusiasm. I don't have any energy. I don't have any productivity feeling in me that I can get this all done. So that's what happens when you go to a Band-Aid. I'm thinking about a client, I'll call her Heidi. And Heidi was one of those individuals that used the Band-Aid. And she used the Band-Aid. She was a partner. She was a mom. She was a wife. And she had to take care of everybody but herself. She had a very stressful law practice. And I can't tell. I've got these bangs hanging here. She had a very stressful law practice and wanted to go the other way. And it cost her, right? So anyway, so what happened with Heidi is she was scrambling. She's good. She'd get up early, get the kids off, get the kids get dressed, get the kids to the sitter, and then some to the school, and then try to make some semblance of house order, and then race to the office, and then have meetings and depositions and deadlines and all of that, and then working long hours. Then babysitter's complaining, the kids are complaining, her husband's complaining. She gets home and she tries to throw some dinner together and get the kids to bed and all that. And then after the kids to bed, then she's got to work, and then her husband's complaining there's no romance in the marriage. And this can be a male, but this is what happened with Heidi. And she did this year after year after year, and she felt like, okay, what can I do? So she did some Band-Aids. So she started listening to podcasts over the motivational or whatever. Then she started trying to read some audiobooks to get her morale up and up. And those are helpful. I'm not going to say they're not helpful, but it didn't get to the source of Heidi's depression, her irritability, her anger, and her feeling just basically run down and sluggish. So she, came to me, she said, Pamela, I've read all these books, I've done all these motivational things, and I try to work out, but with my schedule, it's very difficult. And so we were able to do a few things. And so I'm going to give you a few things that we were able to do for her so that you can find a way to get the help that you need and use the Band-Aids as long as you can. But I don't recommend it. I recommend that you get to the source. So first of all, one of the things that plagued Heidi, which plagues many attorneys, was her perfectionism. So what that would normally have taken her maybe an hour and a half ended up taking her 4.5 hours because she was trying to do it so perfectly. And so we had to go back. This is what we do. We go back. What were your coping mechanisms that you developed at a young age that are affecting you today? That's when you get to the source of the problem as opposed to a band-aid. Yeah, her perfectionism, okay, you're taking too long, take some sort of medication so that you're calmer when you're taking too long, or when you get home, have some wine, the kids allow or whatever, um, because you're taking too long. Well, why are you taking too long? Why are you so perfectionistic? So we got back to some really hard things that happened when she was young that was demanded of her, the perfectionism and how she was compared to her sister. And so her automatic behavior, her automatic knee jerk response was, I've got to do the best. I've got to work harder and all of this. And so this created, her billing, her billing she was writing off a lot of hours. She was behind. And so that was just one thing. It's one thing out of the many things. There were like 12 issues that we dove into with Heidi so that we can help her. So once we got that one thing, I'm like, okay, your perfectionism is killing you. It's killing you. It's killing your family. It's killing your happiness. It's killing your life. And so we have a program, and I actually have a free mini course on how to get more done in less time. You've got to learn to get more done in less time. And, and you have to do a good job. Lawyers have to do a good job, but you have to do it in a set amount of time so that you're not ruining your whole law practice. If you have a chronic thing where you're in perfectionism and you're taking so long with each thing, that's what's going to happen. So that was like one example. Instead of, like a Band-Aid, we got to what was the early source that's here in your mind that has you locked in to perfectionism. And that's where my 25 years of experience helps, because I've worked with attorneys and we get to the source of the problem so that we're not using a Band-Aid. We want you to get over the patterns that are causing you a lot of pain and anguish and disrupting your productivity, disrupting your financial viability, and all of those things. So, what is our goal? Our goal is for you to reclaim your happiness and your enthusiasm. Without that, you don't have anything, right? We want you to reclaim that. The other thing is, we want you to release your old pain and patterns for good. In fact, like Heidi, she had to reconcile, okay, I've spent my life without knowing it, because 90% of our subconscious is in charge. So her subconscious mind had her always doing this, running like on a gerbil wheel or whatever, trying to do it better. So she had to let go of those patterns in order to have a more productive. And then having that, then you get to restore your energy and your peace of mind so that you wake up in the morning and you're ready to go to the law. So you're ready to work with your clients. You're happy to be practicing law. You lost this long ago when you were associate probably, and we gain it, get it back, and then learn how to be healthy for yourself and have healthy boundaries. For example, with Heidi, one of the things, she had to look at how she was doing so much for her family and no one else was doing it. And she felt guilty that again, in this perfectionism, that she had to do everything, she had to do it all, and it all had to be perfect. So we're able to get her to have balance so that she was able to get the help she needed and hire help with the kids she needed, and her husband would chip in so that she could find her boundaries and her happiness. And then she was able to embrace her health, her vitality, her success in all areas of her life. She improved her own health. She started working out again. She improved her marriage because she started becoming intimate with her husband again, and they started having a passionate love life again. And then she started having time with her children, and she wasn't tired and drug out and angry and resentful. So all of these things are done when you get to the source of the problem, and you want to alleviate band-aids, make real change, find out the real source of the problem. And then you can move to a life where you can thrive in your personal, professional, and your emotional and mental and physical health. Thank you. We're glad to see you, and we'll see you next week.